What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another one of our game recaps. This will be for Monday Night Football, the doubleheader on December 11th. The first one is the Giants and the Packers. The Giants took this one 24-22. Super entertaining game to watch. Late game comeback from Tommy DeVito and company. Tommy DeVito is becoming a folk hero in New Jersey. Jordan Love, 25 of 39, 218 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He also had 2 carries for 2 yards. He shouldn't be your starter every single week outside of super deep formats. But with the matchups, I think he's a decent play. He's just super up and down. The Giants' defense is also super up and down. So, low Jordan Love meant good Giants defense, and Jordan Love just didn't perform here. Bad for the Packers' offense, but lets us know that Jordan Love is not quite the lock-it-in. It looked like for a while there that he could be that lock-it-in starter, but he's just not that. He's shown that time and time again this year. A.J. Dillon got a huge opportunity here without Aaron Jones in the lineup. 15 carries for 53 yards. He also had 2 catches for 25 yards on 3 targets. Just a play with Aaron Jones out of the lineup. No efficiency whatsoever from A.J. Dillon. We've known this for years now. That's why I'm kind of wondering if Patrick Taylor is going to get an opportunity. 4 catches for 30 yards for him. He also had 2 catches for 22 yards on 2 targets. More explosion from him. You can see that by the yards per carry. I wonder if he's going to get more of an opportunity if Aaron Jones continues to miss. But A.J. Dillon has had efficiency problems for years now, and they haven't gone away from him yet. So I wouldn't bank on that, but he is an interesting speculative add in very deep leagues. Tucker Kraft, the rookie, got an opportunity here because the other rookie, Luke Musgrave, is out. 4 catches, 64 yards, and 4 targets. He is the leading receiver for the Packers today. I don't think anyone saw that coming going into this game. Still, you can add him if if you're in a dire spot at tight end and you really need somebody. I think Tucker Kraft is that guy. But this whole passing attack, all these receiving options, Tucker Kraft, Romeo Doubs, Jayden Reed, all these guys, Dontavian Wicks, even if Christian Watson comes back here soon, they're all going to be super up and down. I don't think we can depend on any of these guys. Maybe Jayden Reed because he's the only one really getting volume here, and he's getting volume on the ground too. He led the team in catches with 8, doubling anybody else, but he only had 27 yards. 10 targets, though, is really amazing. He should absolutely be on rosters. He's a really solid player, just not like a top 15 sort of receiver, but he's absolutely the best option you're going to get out of this offense when Aaron Jones isn't playing. Even with A.J. Dillon in the lineup, I still would rather have Jayden Reed starting from here on out because he could do a little bit more as far as explosive plays are concerned. Romeo just had the 4 catches for 32 yards on 7 targets. He's becoming a pretty touchdown-dependent option. You could add Romeo. Just don't expect like a super huge game because he's kind of under the spell that all these guys are. None of them are really going to have like super consistent production here throughout the fantasy playoffs because they haven't had it this year. Samori Toure, 2 catches, 22 yards on 4 targets. Dontavian Wicks, just the 2 catches for 20 yards on 6 targets. If you added him for this game, I think he's a safe drop. And Malik just had the 1 catch for 6 yards. Tommy DeVito is a hero in New Jersey. 17-21, 158 yards and a touchdown. He also had 10 carries for 71 yards. The rushing is very tempting, but there's just not enough passing here to really make him a viable fantasy starter. Amazing story, though. I love to watch the Giants with him in the game. All the cuts to his agent and his family is really, really awesome to watch, but I still don't think he is a fantasy option here. Saquon Barkley, though, he should be in lineups. 20 carries, 86 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He also had 3 catches for 15 yards and 4 targets. Really good stuff from him. The volume alone is going to make him a top 10 play every single week at running back. There's not very many guys who the entire offense is being put on their back like this, so keep playing Saquon. Even though this offense in general isn't super great, everything's being filtered through him. He's getting the touchdown production, so keep plugging him in. Wan'Dale Robinson, he was the leading receiver with 6 catches and 79 yards on 7 targets, and he had 2 carries for 36 yards. I still don't think he's an ad because I don't really trust any Giants receiver as of yet. And Darren Waller might be back next game, so that could bring down everybody's receiving stats. So hold off on adding Wan'Dale for now. Matt Breida, he's not going to be a factor unless something happens to Saquon, but he had 2 carries for 16 yards. Isaiah Hodgins, 2 catches, 22 yards, and a receiving touchdown on 2 targets. I do not think he is an ad whatsoever. Daniel Bellinger, he's only really getting stats because of no Darren Waller, but Waller should be back next game, if not here very soon. 2 catches for 15 yards for him. Darius Slayton, he had 2 catches for 14 yards. He's a safe drop. And the rookie Jalen Hyatt, just 2 catches for 13 yards for him. He's going to be very up and down the rest of the year. Last game, another super entertaining game. The Titans beat the Dolphins 28-27. Will Levis, 23 of 38, 327 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He also had 4 carries for 15 yards. He's going to be super up and down the rest of the way. He does have potential for high yards, though, so that's going to be more than a lot of quarterbacks can say. Just kind of stream him with the matchups. Don't depend on him week to week. Derrick Henry, 17 carries, 34 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He also had a catch for 17 yards. He is on an absolute tear right now with these rushing touchdowns. Keep plugging him into your lineups, regardless of matchup right now, just because this sort of rushing production, nobody else in the league is scoring this amount of rushing touchdowns here lately. So keep plugging him in. Tyjae Spears is still a really interesting play. 7 carries, 29 yards. He also had 6 catches for 89 yards on 8 targets. Will Levis really started throwing to him there at the end of the game. He's a really interesting weapon because they don't really have anyone to throw to out wide besides DeAndre Hopkins. Tyjae Spears could be a really interesting option. I wonder if they're going to use him more down the stretch. He'd be an interesting ad. But if something were to happen to Derrick Henry, he is like lock it in, top 10, maybe top 5 back every week. But he could have some standalone value. An interesting ad right now, but just not like a lock it in to your lineup sort of play just yet. And Treylon Burks, good to see him get a little bit more involved in this game. Just 1 carry for 5 yards. He also had a catch for 1. DeAndre Hopkins, monster game. 7 catches, 124 yards, and a receiving touchdown on 12 targets. He is 100% obviously the receiver to roster out of this group. And he's, if you're playing him, regardless of matchup, I do not blame you whatsoever because they are totally prioritizing getting him the ball here in Tennessee. Chig Okonkwo, 5 catches for 46 yards and 6 targets. I would leave him on the wire. There's just no upside there with him. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine had 2 catches for 28 yards on 4 targets. Chris Moore had a catch for 22. And Derrick Henry had the 1 catch for 17 yards. Tua, 23 of 33, 240 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He also had 3 carries for 15 yards. Tyreek Hill went down with an injury, so he missed a big chunk of this game. And they limited his reps down the stretch. So that limited what Tua and really this whole offense could do. Losing to the Titans is not something that this team with a fully healthy Tyreek Hill would do. And if Tyreek Hill misses any time, definitely bench Tua if that were the case because this offense just doesn't look the same whatsoever without Hill. But if Hill's back, they have a good matchup. Plug Tua in there. I know this seemed like a good matchup because they're a much better run defense than they are pass defense, but still, I still think Tua is a really good play in a good matchup with Tyreek Hill in the lineup. This rushing attack is really interesting. Raheem Mostert had 21 carries for 96 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He also had a catch for 4 yards. He is the main beneficiary on the ground in this one. Devon Achane had 7 carries for 47 yards. He also had 5 catches for 24 yards on 9 targets. Led the team in targets, did Achane. Really interesting division. I wonder if they're going to stick with this Raheem Mostert on the ground, Devon Achane through the air attack. It's an interesting divide because Achane got a lot of carries in his first game back last week. A lot less carries here. A lot more was put on Mostert. It's going to be kind of unpredictable who's going to be the lead dog here. So I still think both of them are plays. It's just not like it looked like for a while there, Achane was the clear lead dog. It's just not going to be the case. I think they're going to kind of trade back and forth here. Kind of like Pittsburgh, but clearly Mostert and Achane are more playable than Harris and Warren. Both of them are more playable than both of the Pittsburgh backs there. Jalen Waddle, he had an opportunity with Hill out, or with Hill missing a bunch of time during the game. 6 catches, 79 yards on 8 targets. If Hill is out, he is a clear must start. Got to play him no matter what the matchup is because they will filter a lot through him. I believe if Hill were to miss any time. Before Hill went out, he had 4 catches for 61 yards on 5 targets. This should be his worst game of the season because he missed so much time. Cedric Wilson, the former quarterback, the former Boise State Bronco receiver, he had 2 catches for 30 yards on 4 targets. High school quarterback, that is. Devon Achane, 5 catches, 24 yards on 9 targets. Durham Smythe, the tight end, had 2 catches for 16 yards on 3 targets. I do not think he is an ad. Alec Ingold, the fullback, had a catch for 13. Braxton Berrios, you could leave him on the wire as well. He had 2 catches for 13, and Raheem Mostert had a catch for 4. So that's going to do it for me, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Follow at We Are Drafting on Instagram. We have the Week 15 ads and drops already up, so check those out. I'll see you over there, and thank you again for watching.